The goal of this show is to help you break in and thrive in advertising. And we do that every single week by sharing the stories and advice of those rocking it on the other side. We also share advertising news you need to know in 60 seconds or less on our LinkedIn. You should follow us at Breaking Entering Media. Turn on post notifications for news like you've never seen before. And today, we're heading west to Denver, Colorado, home of one of the original purpose-driven agencies in America. It's known as Cactus. And joining us today is the CEO and the founder, Joe Conrad. He started it back in 1990 with a simple idea: do meaningful, impactful work you actually believe in. Today, they work with numerous brands, but they're just as known for groundbreaking mental health work like their award-winning campaign, Man Therapy, and for building a culture that balances hustle with happiness. In this conversation, we're going to talk about how he broke in, why mental health is personal and professional to him, and why Denver might be the ad industry's best kept secret. Whether you want to start your own agency or simply thrive inside one, this episode is for you. Now on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast, and as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. All right. Joe Conrad, welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Gino. It's Friday, and any Friday is a good Friday. So I'm doing well. How about you?
Feeling good. Been a busy week, so looking forward to this weekend, but also looking forward to talking to you, Joe, because you are the CEO and founder of Cactus, which is a great agency over there in Denver, and we've had a couple folks on from Cactus. So I think this is a three-peat for the agency. So round of applause for the three-peat, everybody. But how are you doing today? What's going on in your world, Joe?
I'm doing great today. It's a typical day in the life of an agency CEO. Putting out fires, trying to hire the right people, pitching new business, and getting in there and pushing the work to make it better. So all in a day's work, but it's good work if you can get it.
Independent agency, is that correct?
Yeah. Cactus is an independent agency. We've got about 70 full-time people, most of them at our home office in Denver. We've got about 10 people dispersed around the country that have specialty skills. They're a part of our team, or they're servicing accounts in local markets. But yeah, we founded the agency in 1990 and never looked back.
Incredible. I love the origin story. We will get into that for sure. I want to know what it's like working in Denver. What's the ad market like there? How have you found success in Denver?
Yeah, it's a great question. When we founded the agency in 1990, the ad market and the landscape looked a lot different than it does today in 2025. I love Denver. It's my hometown, my home city. Definitely a homer. I'm a big advocate for, the Rocky Mountain lifestyle and the attitudes. Founding the agency in Denver way back when, we really just tried to make our mark on the world and our corner of the ad market in Denver, and take any project that we could and try to elevate the work and try to burst out and us and several other agencies would always talk about how can we really work together to really elevate the quality of the work and just the awareness of Denver as a really great ad town, and there's been a lot of great agencies contributing to that. And then, the big game changer was when CPB moved to Boulder and relocated their headquarters. Mm-hmm. Suddenly it brought a lot more talent to the area. Production companies would go to Boulder to see CPB, but they would stop by and we got to know them and we're able to broaden our roster of production companies that we worked with. And so I think, then there's a lot of spin-off agencies that you get coming off of CPB. So some really great startups, but I think it's really grown into a vibrant and dynamic ad town that we have today.
Got it. So then can you talk about some of the clients that you guys are working with today, or some of some fun stuff going on in your world within Cactus today?
Yeah. So we've really set our sights on two types of clients that are ideal for our agency. So we're a full service creative agency, and we do strategy, creative, and media, and we do it all really well. We want to make sure that if we offer a service that it's not a weak link, but we do each of those disciplines at the highest level. We have some media only accounts, we have some creative only accounts, but our sweet spot is when somebody is really looking for an integrated marketing communications firm who can help them with everything that they need. And so that really makes us ideal for those regional accounts that are looking for that suite of services under one roof. And so that tends to for us to be the categories of lotteries. We have three different state lotteries. We've had the Colorado lottery account for 18 years now. It's our longest standing account.
Wow.
But then we landed the North Carolina education lottery 4 years ago. They're an amazing top 10 lottery in the country. They've been a great partner. And then about a year and a half ago, we landed the Hoosier Lottery in Indiana. So that's a practice area, and they really are those regional accounts. They only conduct business in their state. But that's the same with other verticals that we specialize in: healthcare, hospital systems, and behavioral health programs, financial institutions like banks and credit unions. And then anything in the outdoor recreation space is another sweet spot for our agency. So if you have an outdoor recreation destination or a product, Cactus is ideal for you. So that's the kind of work that we're focused on.
I'm sure a lot of your employees are getting outside and have a lot like hobbies outdoors, being in Denver. Do you participate in any hobbies like that, or is it mainly work stuff?
Oh no, no. I'd love to play. I work hard, but I think everybody at the agency, and I think everybody in Colorado, like when you move here, I'm a native, but when people move here, it's kind of like pick an activity. What are you going to do? Are you going to be into skiing, hiking, rafting, mountain biking, golfing? Like so many great options. We're at the foot of the Rocky Mountains here. I'm looking out my window and I can see Red Rocks Amphitheater right here. So it's in a great place that really encourages an active lifestyle. So for me, skiing in the winter, hiking in the summer in the mountains. I actually enjoy the mountains in the summer even better. And then I'm an avid golfer. It's something that I picked up a while ago, and it's just such a great uh, individual way to measure where you are in life and where you are in your golf game. And so it's constantly a challenge to get better. And then as the agency, one thing we're really proud of is we've been awarded Outside Magazine's Best Places to Work the last 3 years. So there's only 50 companies in the country that get that honor, and so I think it's one of the reasons people select this market and Cactus as a place to hang their hat.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's so there's a stark difference between the Denver like ad market and the ways of working, the culture of the agencies when you compare it to like a New York, like
Yeah.
where people are bouncing around here every couple of years. Like we're trying to move up the ladder as fast as possible, like hungry for the next opportunity, and like not a lot of loyalty. It seems like, in a big city. How does that compare to Denver?
Yeah, I think we're just as driven. We want to do great work and put in the time and energy it takes and collaborate with one another to do just that. But I think at our place, I can only speak for Cactus. We really value the quality of life for our team members. We try to balance, doing quality work, working with quality people where there's mutual respect and trust that we make a fair fee for our services. But then quality of our team and, making sure that no one's getting crushed and we're there to support one another and that everybody, has a thriving, meaningful life outside of the office and that it's not too overbearing. We think people bring their best to the office and to the work when they are coming from a place of happiness and meaning in their life. And so we try to foster a culture that supports that.
Incredible, incredible. So now I know it is May 2nd right now as we're recording this, trying to get this out fairly soon here. It's still in May, Mental Health Awareness Month. And speaking like quality of life, helping out your employees, like why does this matter? This month specifically matter to you, to this agency. How are you guys interacting with the month, mental health awareness? Maybe it's not just the month, of course, you're thinking about this holistically. What are some ways that you're approaching this?
I think you nailed it right there. That Mental Health Awareness Month is a great opportunity for the world to shine a light on this issue and talk about the things that they're doing to advance the issue and the tipping point to where mental health is something that is broadly accepted and something that everybody embraces and realizes that it's important to them. At Cactus, it's more than just a month. It's something that is really, I think, core to our agency. It's an issue that we really have gotten behind and done a lot of work around to try to be part of that tipping point in breaking through the stigma around mental health. And we have this attitude at Cactus that mental health isn't for some people; it's for everybody. And if we all realize that we're all in the pool together, and we all have to look in the mirror and kind of check ourselves or where we are on that mental health and well-being scale, and it shifts, right? Like as challenges come along, and you're faced with career challenges, relationship challenges, grief over losing a loved one. You never know when things are going to set you back, and you may need to kind of pay more attention to it. So we think that when you take that attitude that mental health is for everybody, the stigma just melts away because we're all in the same boat. And so that's kind of our attitude around it. And we came by it honestly because when we founded the agency back in 1990, we set it up as a purpose-driven agency to put our team's talents to work on causes and brands and nonprofits that we believed in. And so it's always been part of our ethos and our conviction at Cactus is to do that kind of meaningful work. And we've taken on all sorts of issues over the years. Early on, we did a lot of environmental awareness work for the Nature Conservancy, for Colorado Environmental Coalition. We published a book on Earth Day in 1995 about the state of Colorado's environment. So we were doing a lot of work there. Then we went into the cultural arts realm, trying to put the arts on the map in Denver. So we worked with the Denver Art Museum, Museum of Nature and Science, Denver Center Theater Company, so a litany of those kind of cultural arts brands. And then in the mid 2005, we really started working a lot more with public health issues around tobacco cessation and prevention, obesity programs. And then in 1990, we were asked to take on the issue of suicide among working age men. And that really opened up this vein of mental health and behavioral health work that really, I think, helped shape our agency and made a profound impact on our attitude. And I think the reason mental health is so important, it's kind of the linchpin issue, right? Like our behavior and the decisions that we make, and it really leads to everything else, that affects our behavior is really, the resilience and the mental toughness that people have. And so we think mental health is really an important issue and one that we've put our flag in the ground on.
I love it. I love it. And then, anything that you're doing specifically this month that you can talk about?
Yeah, so Cactus is, I think, unique in a lot of ways. And when I say that we live it every day, it's really true. The suicide prevention campaign that we launched back in 2012 was called Man Therapy, Therapy the Way a Man Does It. We were asked to take on the issue, and we really got behind it and saw, wow, this is really a serious issue. I always felt like communications could solve any problem. That was kind of our attitude. A small agency, creativity, and innovation can take on the world's biggest problems. But I thought maybe we met our match when we were asked to take on suicide among working age men. I mean, is it possible for an ad campaign or a website to positively impact such a serious and dark issue like someone taking their own life? And so I knew we had our work cut out for us. But we decided to take it on as a passion project without a budget. We did it as a pro bono effort. And we launched Man Therapy as one of the world's first digital platforms where therapy actually happens on the site, and also a creative campaign that used humor to address a dark issue. And so, it's still here 13 years later is the most awarded, most impactful campaign that we've done. It actually led to us starting a sister company called Grit Digital Health. So that's something that we work on every month of the year. And obviously, Mental Health Awareness Month is an opportunity to shine a light on that particular campaign. And then as an agency, we've really worked on a lot of different mental health issues. And one thing we started doing a few years ago is a series called Frame of Mind, where we interview thought leaders. We've done it with agency leaders from around the country talking about mental health in their shop and what they do. And then the last couple of years, we've talked to really great brands, trying to get some insight on the innovative work they're doing to continue to push this issue to the forefront.
I love it. You guys are like the like a one of the founding original purpose-driven agencies. I know that gets tossed around quite a bit nowadays, and it seems like, just with the track record, the history of the agency, you guys were pioneers of this. I want to get into how you broke into this industry, how you started this agency. Uh, where should we take it? I think, when did you realize you wanted to be in advertising, Joe?
Well, it everybody has their own journey and their own path, and mine started, in college, trying to figure out what the hell I was good at. I started out as a computer science major, and I was terrible in math and science, so I obviously didn't have any good career counseling. But I was searching for something to do like my junior year, and I always was a pretty good writer, and I thought, the journalism program attracted me, and so I enrolled in journalism, and it just clicked, right? So when you find something that you're really good at, and you feel that inspiration and that feedback, I felt like, okay, I kind of found my lane. And then from there, just had some really great mentors and professors in college that opened my eyes to marketing and advertising and PR. I was debating whether or not to be a journalist. I was really enamored by that. I think the heyday of journalism, and what that meant. So I was debating about going into that part of media, and then just decided to take a left turn, and got my first job at an ad agency in Denver. It was a full service agency. They did PR, design, and advertising, and so that was kind of my first foray into it. Was at an agency, kind of learning what the world was all about, and
Mhm.
that's kind of my first exposure to it, and certainly lit a fire.
Nice, nice. And how long did you stay in that agency before starting your own shop?
So I stayed there a full 2.5 years. So
Mhm.
um, it was a great experience. I had a great mentor. I worked on some really great business, um, but I was also really frustrated by the culture that they had set. You definitely felt like a cog in the machine, pushing billable hours, and they didn't really, I think, take care of people or respect the work that they did. It was a fast-paced environment. I learned a lot. I developed some great skills, but I just wasn't feeling satisfied. And the big breaking point with that agency and that work was the kind of clients that we took on and that I was asked to work on. Um, Not only did I not enjoy the work, I was morally opposed to some of the work that we were doing. They worked with some, oil and gas and mining companies, and it was our job to make them look good when we saw, behind the scenes, some terrible things that they were doing to the environment, and it was our job to put a spin on it. And we did that job really well. And I remember, there was a company that we worked with. I won't say their name, but we were handling a PR announcement of them closing down a uranium mine, and we handled it, and it went off just like we had planned as far as like the PR on it. And then I started looking at media clips, TV clips, and newspaper clips that came out, and we it came out in the media exactly how we wanted to position it. And I was like, oh wow, it really gave me a sense of like the power that you have to position things in the world, and it can be used, for good, or in this case, I felt like something I couldn't live with. I couldn't sleep with myself. I couldn't sleep at night just worrying about like the negative impact I was having with my work. And so that caused me to, I was going to change careers. I was going to go into sales or something completely different. But then I had an epiphany, and that was, what if I actually, you know, worked with brands and organizations that I believed in, and that needed a more powerful voice, and I put my talents to work for things that I could really get behind, and that's what gave me kind of the impetus to start Cactus.
Incredible. Incredible. So then you started that. You were pretty young when you started it, which I'm really inspired by. And you've been doing it ever since. Um, I guess, like, looking back at your career then and starting this journey, uh, I want to know what all the advice that you have, whether it's for entrepreneurs or the aspiring advertisers. Like, let's maybe start with the aspiring advertisers. You've hired a lot of people over the years. You've grown this agency. It's been thriving for so long. You've hired so many people. What can you concretely say to the listeners, the next generation, on how to successfully break into this industry for one, and then how do you stay in it for the long term?
I think the most important thing is to really try to understand, advertising and marketing. And there's a lot of options. There's a lot of different, roles. I think even just within Cactus, we've got 30 different job titles, across media, digital, production, project management, account service, strategy, obviously creative, and even on the creative team, there's, designers, copywriters, art directors. And so just so many different job titles even within that. I think it's really about understanding, what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and kind of doing that work. So I think, it's really on the individual person early on in college, right when they graduate, to really do that work to understand, their place in the advertising marketing world, and how they can best fit in it. So I think that that's the first thing. And then the other thing is just, I think it's just an attitude and tenacity to just kind of break through and find your foothold. And I think there's no replacement for just getting great experience as early as you possibly can. So it's never too late to go job shadow and do informational interviews and really get an internship, so you can kind of test the water, see what you're good at, and get that feedback from the world, because that'll help you figure out, how to maybe take your next step and how to plot your way up the mountain. So I think just tenacity and self-determination, and those are some of the qualities that we look for, and I think will serve people really well.
Yeah, if you do a lot of your homework and you nerd up, you understand the industry, all the different types of agencies out there, all the different types of clients that are out there, and you determine you want to work for a full service creative agency, you want to be a copywriter. You can even say, I want to be a copywriter, and I also know I'm really good at comedy. You can get really niche in that, and that actually
Yeah.
opens up your parameters, and to then be strategic about where you apply and who you talk to, the work that you see, right? So it's all about this knowledge intake early on. And it's so crucial to be able to be confident and say, my name's Gino Schellenberger. I want to be an assistant account executive at Cactus because I love the mental health work you've been doing, and Grit Digital Health was so interesting to me, Joe. And the fact that you started this as a young entrepreneur, just like myself with Breaking Entering, I want to work directly for you at Cactus. If somebody, Joe, said that to you, don't you think after listening to this show, they have some, and they can prove it with some resume work and some portfolio work, it might be a little bit more impressive.
I'd hire you right now, Gino. That was, I think you summed it up, right? Like, do your homework, know what you want, and then go for it. And just be tenacious in pursuing it. I think that's great. The other piece of advice that I always give to young people on our team, to college students that I'm doing informational interviews with, I give this advice to my kids, and I take this advice, and this is how we run the agency. And I think that there's three reasons why someone should take a job, and it position always has to include these three things at some level. And these kind of priorities kind of shift a little bit. They all should be present, but throughout your career, they may shift a little bit. And so the first thing is you got to get paid, right? Everybody, unless you're a trust funder, you got to put food on the table, and you should make what you deserve, and you should continue to earn more as your career progresses. And so you have to make sure that you're getting paid fairly. The second thing is, are you growing professionally in that position? Is it exposing you to new opportunities? Are you, extending your capabilities and your experience? And are you growing your portfolio so you're not stagnant? And I think that's really important when you're young, is you're really exposed to lots of different opportunities, and you're professionally developing at a rapid pace. I think you always want to have an element of that in your career. And then finally, how much personal satisfaction and how much does it fuel your happiness? You're excited when you get up in the morning to go to work, and you look yourself in the mirror about the work you're putting into the world and feel good about it. And so those things shift. throughout your career, when you're just getting started and you take an internship, you may not make any money and you may not love it. You may have to run and get, liquor runs or coffee runs and do, some of the organizing the storage room. But you do that because you're really looking for experience, right? You're looking to break in and have a portfolio and experiences that you can then talk about in a job interview. So those things, that's what's more important early on, is getting that experience. But I think keeping your eye on those three metrics are really important. And that's how we evaluate new clients that we work with. Are we getting paid a fair price for our services? Is it advancing our agency because of the work that we're developing? Is it going to bring us new, better work because of the quality of work we're doing? And then finally, is it make us happy and fulfilled with the work we put out there?
I love it. There's so many parallels between the new business process and then also getting a job process, which if people go into the new business world, they'll understand that within an agency, which is a fun dynamic too. If there's a lot of agencies that have maybe 1, 2 to 5 new business professionals. If you can get on that team, usually it's a stems from the account management side, but I
Yeah,
love that world too.
yeah, it's really fun. I agree. I think we have a new growth director that started at Cactus, and she came from the account side. She's a
Mhm.
really accomplished account director, and she's just fantastic. So I agree. I think new business is a fun place to be, and it does mirror, I think competing for a job. When I started Cactus, it's been 35 years ago now, and I only had one job interview as a young person, and I got hired at that first agency. So I really only been on one job interview in all these
On the
years.
other side, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm interviewing every week, chasing new business and new clients. So it's very similar.
Right. Right. Got it. So what's next then for Cactus? Are you hiring people? Can people reach out to you? How does this all work?
Yeah, we're constantly on the lookout for really great people to join our team. We're it comes, of course, with landing and winning new business, and so we are having some good success on that front and pitching a lot of business. And so, yeah, if anybody's interested, check out our site at cactusinc.com. It's a new website we just launched a few weeks ago. And yeah, you can see what jobs are open, see what kind of work we're doing, and connect with anybody on our team. So just reach out and you can connect with people through our website.
Fantastic, Joe. Was there anything else you wanted to share, get out to the world while we still have you?
What else? I mean, your questions have been great, Gino, and the conversation I've really enjoyed. Um, you
Where's the
know,
office at in Denver?
We're in lower downtown Denver, so on 15th and Little Raven. Cactus, when we opened the shop in 1990, we were down on a little street called Platt Street. And there was nothing between lower downtown Denver and Platt Street and the downtown area. It was just kind of railroad yards and a bunch of weeds growing. And now, here we are 35 years later. Denver's changed so much. And about 15 years ago, we purchased a really great two-story building on the corner of 15th and Little Raven, and renovated it and kind of, redesigned it with our agency in mind. And it's just a really great place to call
You
home. And
purchased it?
yeah, yeah, it's
Oh, that thing's probably that's an asset right there in that location, I'm sure.
absolutely, yeah. The price is, probably tripled since we bought it, and it's been a great investment. And the nice thing is the landlords are pretty cool, so our rent is pretty low.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so it's worked out really well. So yeah, if this advertising thing, it's a good fallback position.
Yeah, I got to get into real estate, but I have no money now because of thinking about like the earned portion of your advice. I'm definitely um, over indexing on the learn part of my career. So
Yeah,
I'll get into real estate later on.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I really enjoyed the conversation, and
All right.
it's always good to catch up with you, Gino.
All right, Joe. Well, best of luck to you. We'll be on the lookout for that Frame of Mind series. It should be out as the time that this is out right now, so we'll put the links below. You're doing great stuff, Joe. I hope people reach out, and thank you again.
Yeah, Gino, it's great talking to you. I love your show and appreciate you making time for me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.